Sometimes when working with gods, life winds up throwing you curveballs that you did not expect. Sometimes when you're doing deity work or you're a pagan and decide to work more closely with a deity, that deity winds up being the curveball that you did not expect, throwing more curveballs at you and laughing the entire time. Right now, for me, that deity is Lady Aphrodite. I've been working with her for just about a week. And when I say working with, I don't mean like I sat down and came up with a plan, or she said, hey, I want to work with you. Instead, she came in like a fucking Looney Tune, tornado and all, came into my living room and said, you need me, and I'm here, and I'm not leaving. And if I did not know any better, I swear she brought luggage with her. Now, for those of you who are unaware, I am in fact one of those people that sits around and talks to the voices in my head and attributes them to gods. And I have seen a therapist for it, and after 2 antipsychotics doing nothing to help this, we've decided that it's somewhere in the box of yet-to-be-explained phenomenon. But now that we're all caught up that I am one of those people that might be referred to as a psychic medium, let's continue. A few things that have happened in my life since the last time that I made one of these Orc-Vlogs and decided that I was going to be a pagan vlogger starts off a little like this. First of all, I wound up going through a sort of miniature mini-health crisis because I realized I am no longer front stuck to my system. I am the host of a DID system, and I have been front stuck for the last 5 years. That is no longer the case. And just like when I wound up meeting my headmates back in March of 2020, I wound up going through a little bit of a crisis where I was constantly dissociated nonstop for about 3 days. And 3 days is better than 3 months like it was last time, so kudos for me. I at least have a handle on this roller coaster. Now, myself and my co-host Dahlia, who was the former host of the system before 5 years ago, are now both hosts. We're both hosts, we're both co-hosts. If I'm not fronting, usually she's the one that is. So you're probably going to see a lot more of her during these vlogs. The next unexpected thing that happened was out of the midst of this chaos was Aphrodite. And I did not expect what was to come. Now, of all of the gods that I've worked with, I don't know that much about Aphrodite other than what the average person knows. Goddess of love, beauty, sensuality, sexuality, feminine wiles, and trickery. Yes, that's right, Aphrodite is a trickster goddess. And there's another aspect, or an epithet of Aphrodite, that's not often represented in the myths, but it still exists out there, which is Aphrodite Urania. Or Aphrodite who is like Ares, which means in some regards, at least in some places, specifically in Sparta, she's a war goddess as well. Now, a couple of years ago, before I really got familiar with myths and started actually feeling comfortable calling myself an omnitheist pagan, I did work with Aphrodite, very briefly, to work on a little bit of that self-love that I have never known a day in my life unless I was faking it until I made it. That did not last terribly long, just because life got chaotic and I just wound up moving on from that. It's been a couple of years. And this version of Aphrodite is only best described as pure, unadulterated chaos. Now, when I start working with a deity, I usually have a preliminary phase, which might also be called a dating phase. Does this energy match? Do I really want to move forward with this? And is this something that's actually going to bring me joy and fulfillment in the long run? And after that dating phase, I said, yeah, this is a good fit. Let's move forward. Let's see what you have in store for me. And she has not elaborated one bit on what she has in store for me. And this is where my work with her departs from the work that I usually do with any other god. That being said, if there were, say, a new god in the past, say it was King Asmodeus. He comes forward and he would say, hey, this is what I would like to do, and this is what I hopefully have for you in mind. Whether we get there or not, I don't know. But we're going to try, okay? In the meantime, offerings, work, worship, make a couple videos about me, that'd be cool, and let's call it a day and see what happens. Aphrodite has told me nothing. She said, I'm here. We're going to have fun. We're going to fuck some shit up. And in the meantime, enjoy life. And if you can't, I will make you. You don't have an option right now. I will make you. And we're going on 2 weeks working with her. And I still have no idea what she's doing. All I know is she's here. Shit's happening and things are getting done. Now, the thing that made me a little anxious and a little worried at first was that famously Aphrodite and Queen Persephone do not get along. But they've had no problems in the time that they've been in the same space together. And usually when I say, hey, okay, I recognize that these two deities don't get along, and I'm going to just not call them into the same space. But they present themselves both in the same space. So I'm confused. Which makes me wonder, is this actually Aphrodite? It is. I don't know how to explain it. Long story short, the unexpected is to be expected from this point moving forward. And one of the unexpected things is going back to TikTok. That's correct. I've started uploading to TikTok again, which is something that I did not expect, and when I said I was leaving, I meant it. I had no intention on returning. And there it is. My account. New content. Starting with this one. Let's take a look at it. So, why exactly are you asking me to go back to Witch Talk? Because we have a plan for you. Okay, Aphrodite, walk and talk. You're going to have to do better than that. Did she just tell me to walk and talk? Yes, because I need coffee for this. What is this plan? And why does it involve me going back to Witch Talk? To be fair, we don't want you going back to Witch Talk. We want you to go back to making content. Content for Witch Talk. Would you like some coffee? That sounds lovely. Thank you. So you want me to go back to making TikTok content, making witchy and pagan content, but not for Witch Talk. Witch Talk is a laughable joke of a social construct. We want you to go back to making content, but the last thing you should do is try to be a fucking witch talker. Okay, say I did come back to making content on the witchy side of TikTok. You realize it would look like me leaving was just a publicity stunt, yes? Now why are you worried about what people are gonna think? Because I don't want to put up with a cavalcade of shit talk and gossip. So tell those people to fuck off. Yeah, piss on the fire to put it out. It'll be successful, but everybody will be fumigated out of the room. The room being my content and my account. Can I ask you to have faith that we'll work it all out for you? I haven't had enough coffee for this shit. Where are you going? Cigarette, care to join? So let's start over. You, Aphrodite, as well as other gods, want me to go back to making witchy content talking about the gods and magic. And I quote, "More people with a lick of sense need to speak truth into the world." And I was good at it. That's the shortest, most abbreviated version, but essentially. You realize this already sounds like a crock of shit, right? Honey, do I look like I care right now? No, but what I care about is the fact that I've done work for the gods multiple times and have yet to receive a paycheck for it. How about this? All you have to do is make content, and we will help set you up. Because face it, YouTube alone isn't going to bring home the bread either. If I do this, I get to back out at any time, and I get to change my mind whenever I want. Because honestly, I've been fucking bored. And I'm still not going to upload as much as I used to because I've still got other things I need to focus on. But for that matter, what the fuck am I even supposed to talk about? For starters, you learned about your soul's origin. And telling the world that you, Hecate, and Hades made my soul doesn't sound like a stretch of the imagination to you.
I'm honestly not sure if I believe it with complete faith. You know, you wouldn't be the only one talking about spiritual parentage and maker's marks and shit like that. Just trust me, it'll work out this time. Please? This goes against my better judgment, but fuck it. I'm in. I'll do it. Whatever. I need more coffee.
So it's been a couple of days since I had initially started filming this video. And to be frank, I kind of forget where I left off, and I forget everything that I said, because I didn't feel like going back to check and pull the memory card out of this camera in order to remind myself what I've said already. But I at least have a vague idea in which I can use as bumpers. Saying bumpers, but I'm acting like it's a pinball machine. Anyhow, it's been a little bit since I started filming. So now this is the morning of another day, and I feel like this should be the start of another video. Since I'm doing my morning routine, I've got my coffee, I've got the coffee here for Hecate, and the fresh coffee over here for King Hades. So it kind of feels like there's going to be two videos in one. But that's the way it feels like to me, but I'm not redoing everything or finding a way to splice in an ending to the first part of the video, so we're just going to pick up where I left off by shoving a new day at the second half of this video. But aside from it being the start of a new day, it feels like it's going to be the start of a new era as well. And my side boobs are hanging out, so I'm going to change my shirt real quick so I don't feel self-conscious the rest of this video. Not only is it the beginning of the new day, not only does it feel like the beginning of a new video, but it also is the dawning of a new era for my life personally. Because finally, my son is in daycare after school. Which means, one, I'll be able to make more content. Two, I'll be able to get some fucking rest, which is something I've needed since before I started uploading to this goddamn channel and have yet to find any. Oh my god, I might genuinely start crying. I might start crying, bros. My goodness. I'm gonna take a minute. So, moving on, in my video where I came back to TikTok, where I'm conversating with Aphrodite, I mentioned something about figuring out my soul's origin. In that video, I did suggest, and insinuate that in some way, Hades, Hecate, and Aphrodite had somehow made my soul. Now, even if I were to 100% believe this with absolute certainty, does that mean that I am any more special than anybody else? No, absolutely not. I'm still a people right here, just like you and everybody else. And I am going to keep that mindset moving forward. Because I'm just people. And then later on, down the timeline, a couple videos later, I made a video talking more about it just a little bit. Now, honestly, this is a little bit of a wild concept to some people. So I don't know how to go about it, traverse it, handle the topic at large moving forward. Now, I am not arrogant enough to believe that the comment was directed at me, because I'm not the only person that's talking about something like this. The idea of spiritual parentage is not a new concept. The idea of a god creating your soul for you to be born into this body is not a new concept. There ain't a goddamn person on the face of the earth that is required to believe me. I will still sleep soundly at night if somebody wants to come into my face and say, "Dude, you're full of shit, fuck you." But I think it was the attitude of superiority that was presented in the video that I saw. Am I going to present the video? No, because I don't want to throw this creator in front of the bus. I don't want to cause any drama, because I like their content. I'm still going to follow them, and I'm still going to enjoy their content. But I still don't personally like the way that it was framed, where it's like, oh my god, this is what y'all kids are believing these days? Holy crap. The idea of spiritual parentage isn't a new thing, and maybe I'm a little normalized to it, I'm a little biased to it, because it is a much more popular thing in the left-hand path side of magic, and you find it a lot when you're talking about left-hand path deities, or people who work in demonolatry and work with demons and worship demons. But I guess it's okay because, oh, those devil worshippers don't know what they're talking about, they're on some other shit. Now, is this a potentially dangerous concept for people to think and then be like, oh, my soul was made by such and such deity, and then that gives them something to fuel their egoic sense of self into megalomania? Absolutely. But I really don't think the concept is the problem here. Because even if I were to wholeheartedly believe that this was the case, that these three deities somehow constructed my innermost self, that doesn't really mean anything except for possibly explaining why I am into the types of magic that I am, such as death work, such as witchcraft and sorcery, and you know, just in general being a chaotic little shithead sometimes. Because I don't really do it a lot on camera, but you should see me behind closed doors. Including but not limited to the bedroom door. Basically, chaos is love, chaos is life, and that matches the side of Aphrodite that I've been seeing. I vibe with all three of these gods really well. It gets under my skin when people hear a concept that they don't understand, think that it's some new fandangled Tumblr originated thing, and then continue to ridicule an entire slew of people on the internet. God, it drives me nuts! And I just always find it hilarious is that the people who... I'm not going to include this content creator because everything else that they do, mwah, beautiful, I love it. But that attitude in general that is shared by far too many on the witchy side of TikTok, where they think that somehow, oh, you believe that? I feel better about myself. Let me talk down to everybody else who thinks like that. And it's always the people that want to say that they are elders, or they've been doing this for so fucking long, this, that, the other. You know, that was supposed to start off as a cough, was supposed to start off as a laugh, and became a cough, but I'm going to leave it in there. Why? I don't know. I just find it hilarious that I vibe with the novice practitioners a lot more than I do with the elders in the community. But enough with the TikTok drama. Look at the cool crystal that I got for Aphrodite. Yes, see it, look at it. Bask in the ambiance. Revel in the magnificence of this rose quartz tower. Now, I went into the witchy shop yesterday looking for incense because I'd been out for weeks. And then, of course, just below the incense is where I saw the entire stash of the amethyst and the rose quartz. There was also selenite, but we don't really... I don't vibe with selenite like that. I've got this selenite brick here, and I don't know what else to call it. It's a slab. It's a fucking brick. Look at it. But I use that more for cleansing and workings than anything else. Because in many cases, when it comes to ambient energy, that selenite brick works well as a magic eraser, a literal magic eraser, if you will. But I crouched down to the shelf beneath the incense. I look, and this one calls out to me. I picked it up. I looked at it. I marveled in its glory. And I said, 22 bucks? Yeah, I think I can get something for Aphrodite. Because I don't have anything else for her on my altar. She's just kind of been hanging around in the ether space, or however the hell you might want to put it. I've had nothing for her. Look at all the shit that I've got that's on Persephone's side, Kati's side, and all of the stuff that's up there for Hades, I didn't have anything for Aphrodite. So there we go. Rose quartz. So honestly, I think that's where I'm going to wrap up the video, and I'm going to move on because I need to remind myself that this is the second or last part of a video that I already filmed, instead of just sitting here getting on my high horse and going on talking at great lengths without remembering that, in fact, there is still much more video that I'm forgetting is here. So on that note, if you are able to, always remember to please consider supporting the channel. And until next time, much love, peace out, namaste, and goodbye. Woo!